Well, Tom Brady has joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know. I didn't see that coming. Did you see that coming?
I did. I wanted him to be the LA Charger, but I saw him. It was going to be between Tampa Bay and the Chargers. I actually said it on air maybe 2-3 months ago because I started to look at the roster, and we weren't saying Tampa at first because Jameis Winston had a yin-yang year in terms of great production, in terms of yards and touchdowns, but then interceptions kind of make you say, I don't know. And we didn't know if they were going to get rid of Jameis because he's young. But then one day I was just looking at the roster because I was thinking Chargers. I was like, Tampa Bay got a nice roster if you just swap out the quarterback and let them protect the ball more going forward. And then, I kind of saw it coming. Look, no state tax. You stay on the East Coast. You got a talented offensive roster. They won 7 games with a quarterback that had 39 total turnovers. It makes a ton of sense once you see it happen. But even before, I had a little foresight on it could happen.
Well, there was the rumor that Antonio Brown was going to join Tampa Bay. And then a few days later, Tampa Bay officially announced that Antonio Brown is not going to be joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you saw all the Antonio Brown craziness, and I have my own crazy Antonio Brown story that I'll tell you off camera. But
I already know that.
You already know that.
Yeah,
I told you off camera.
Right.
But when you saw the Antonio Brown craziness, at first I'm like, okay, he's trolling. But then he gets arrested. His agent drops him. No team is interested in him. That's not trolling. You don't troll your way into prison. Not when you're a professional athlete. That's worth millions of dollars.
That's what Tekashi and them do that, huh?
Yeah, Tekashi does that. Right. Antonio Brown has a real career.
Yeah.
Real massive talent. Like this is, a lot of times people, I was talking to friends of mine and I'm like, well, what's the difference between, like, let's just say a Kaepernick and Antonio Brown? Well, they're like, Antonio is really a top player. Like he really is at one of the best players in his position. When you start seeing the whole meltdown happen, what did you think?
Man, I was a public defender for him for a long time in terms of his antics, his behavior. I really saw where he was coming from. In a lot of those situations, especially early on, the whole divorce from Pittsburgh, I knew that Ben Roethlisberger played a part in that. Being passive aggressive in terms of your relationship. I had a little issue with you, Antonio. So all of a sudden, no, you're not open. Or no, I'm not going to throw you the ball. Hey, Juju Smith-Schuster, here you go. And like really elevating Juju to the point where his numbers look better than Antonio. And Antonio's sitting there like, hey, time out, bro. He's good. I'm great. Can you keep that distance between us? Oh, the only way you won't is I got to start kissing your butt or being your homie or being your friend or letting you talk to me in any old kind of way or call me out. Stuff that was really occurring. Now, Antonio had his own issues in that relationship as well, but I really saw that play out. And when you're a receiver, you're dependent on your quarterback. Imagine if your quarterback ain't really fucking with you like that. Like he kind of like, hey, man. Ben Roethlisberger threw a pass to a defensive tackle one time and literally blamed Antonio for running a bad route. Like, that's when I knew. I was like, oh, Ben is on one right now as well. So I defended him through all that. But then, he went to the Raiders. That got ugly. And then everything else. I just really think Antonio suffers, like a lot of people suffer, from not knowing their true value. And I'm not talking about what you contribute to the world. I'm talking about just because you can inhale, exhale, and be a human being that was properly valued by a family and by loved ones. I think Antonio heard his loudest cheers in life when he had a football in his hand. And if your kid is feeling that way about whatever they're doing, that they're hearing the most love, feeling the most love, the loudest cheers in support when they're doing something, that kid's going to come crashing to that reality that I need to feel a deeper value and love sooner or later. And Antonio escaped it for what, 9-10 years? And then finally he hit that level where he felt he was too big to fail. And then it all flipped on his head inside of him. And what we just saw was a public display of what internally he was conflicted with, how much he loved himself and how much was he loved by those, because we all know his upbringing. It's kind of a sad story, but a little typical.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I hope he gets it together, and I hope he gets back in the NFL and gets back to doing what he does best, because he's a phenomenal player.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, yeah. He got to get back,
yeah.
man. Ain't no way around that. That dude's too special. You don't keep Hall of Famers on the shelf. They try to do it with Carmelo Anthony, and then they realize, okay, let's find him one opportunity. Boom, he comes back. He's buckets again. I'm like, should have never not been in a situation where he could have been buckets. But what are we talking about, all these awards? It's the same thing when it comes to, like, who's on your roster. I thought it was about the best ballers. No, it ain't. It's about this package. And can we present this package to get all of y'all money out there to support this team? And their calculations at times to me are off. Like, and it's this balancing act between how good are you and how much BS and bad comes with you, whatever that looks like. And sometimes they run the wrong numbers. Antonio will be back in the league as soon as he gets his suspension, and as soon as he gets a definite ruling. He'll pay that, he'll serve that, and then he'll be back.
Well, our last interview was primarily about Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of backlash from that interview.
Backlash? You mean comments?
Yeah.
I love how.
Not that you care, but
Backlash.
I saw all the comments. Oh, this guy, he's a sellout. He's only saying this shit because of Fox and whatever else.
Right.
But when we did the last interview, this was last year, there was still a chance that Kaepernick was going to join the NFL again. So then there was the whole workout fiasco. From your point of view, what do you think happened at that workout?
Okay. I think that workout, this is all conjecture because this is just me speculating from the outside in summation of this. I do know some particulars, but in general, this is going to be my summation of my opinion. I think when they signed that NDA, when they had their settlement, if you're Kaepernick, they're hushing you up. Now that's fine for anybody else who's on a money chase. Nick Cannon's nanny, like, hush me up. As long as you give me some money, I'm good in this settlement. But if you're a political activist who started a public activism for a cause, are you the dude that wants to be silenced? Like, it didn't sound like you would sign up to be silenced, but whatever. I think one of the clauses of the NDA was Kaepernick wanted to be assured that he would get an opportunity to work out. And I think the NFL looked at that and said, okay, as long as this goes away, we'll assure you'll get your chance. And he's like, when? They were like, just sign it and we'll let you know. Now, I'm sure that had an expiration date. And it may have been approaching it or maybe not. But they finally just, because it came out of nowhere, they were just like, hey, what you doing this weekend? He like, nothing. They're like, yeah, you are. You doing this workout. I don't want that. Remember that clause we already put in, we already agreed to? Your chance, you want it or not. You say you wake up every day at 5 a.m. and work out. This should be no problem. So I think reluctantly, because of timing, he didn't necessarily want to do it just like that. But then you got to strike while it's hot, and you got an opportunity. You got to go shoot your shot. What happened then is his lawyers got a hold of what this contract was like, I don't know, Cap, this doesn't sound like it's all in favor of you getting the workout to the degree that you think or you want or we desire. And I think that moment of contention is where it all fell apart. It's crazy that Cap wanted the cameras in there so that the public would be able to see the workout and they couldn't manipulate the footage or manipulate the workout so that we will be the referees or the scorekeepers. but we're not the employers. So I don't give a damn how many Twitter comments I write about Kaepernick. That ain't going to force one of these owners or team GMs to sign him. So I always kind of looked at that as suspicious. Like, why would you fight so hard for that? Or more importantly, why were you so upset if they said no to that? Because it doesn't really matter if you need an opportunity, but whatever. I get where he was coming from to that degree. They do publicize and televise the combine now, so why can't you televise this one? I got where he was coming from. But then when he made that his adamant point that he wouldn't do the workout unless he had the camera crews there, I was like, do you really want the workout? Anyway, then you stop the workout, the midnight hour of it. We're going to move down the street. We're going to do this. And y'all can come follow me here. Whatever scouts want to be involved, blah, blah, blah. And a few showed up. We know, we saw that. But then the thing that caught me off guard was he did the workout, and I gave it like a C plus, B minus, I think. It wasn't really a spectacular workout. You got to understand, if you've seen workouts before, they're controlled environments. Like, it should look near perfect. If it doesn't, then something's not good, because something's up with that prospect if it's not near perfect in a perfect setting. So he didn't look perfect in that. Some errant throws and ill-timed throws, blah, blah, blah. But then this is one where I really was like, Kaepernick ain't changed. All of a sudden, the shoe, like the whole camera angle flipped into the marketing angle of Nike and the shoe. And I was just watching, like, why are they, he got on his caps. Eric Reed posted something with the shoes, the Air Caps. And I was like, why does shoe becoming any part of this conversation when it's about this dude getting back in the league? So we all know what it turned into, a campaign for a shoe. And I think that's where a lot of that energy was coming from. Hey, make sure you get out there and wear these shoes, which was a little disingenuous.
Well, the NFL actually issued a statement after the workout.
Yeah.
And I'm going to skip around a little bit, but you could look at, everyone who's watching could look it up for themselves. And they said, we are disappointed that Colin did not appear for his workout. He informed us of the decision at 2:30 p.m. today, along with the public. Today's session was designed to give Colin what he has consistently said he wants, an opportunity to show his football readiness and desire to return to the NFL. 25 clubs were present for the workout, and all 32 clubs, their head coaches, general managers, and other personal executives would have received video footage of the interview and workout. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. They said last night when Nike, with Colin's approval, requested to shoot an ad featuring Colin and mentioning all the NFL teams present at the workout, we agreed to the request. We sent Colin's representative a standard liability waiver based on the waiver used by National Invitational Camp at all NFL combines and by NFL clubs when trying to figure out agent players. At noon today, Colin's representative sent a completely rewritten and insufficient waiver. We heard for the first time last night, around the same time we heard from Nike that Colin wanted to bring his own video crew. We heard for the first time this afternoon that Colin wanted to open the event to all media. We agreed to have Colin's representatives on the field while the workout was being conducted and allow them to see how it was being recorded. We do so even though we have been clear from the beginning this is a private workout. As is typical with NFL combines, one video crew was prepared to shoot and distribute video of the interview and workout. We confirmed that Colin's representatives, they would receive both the video and that would be sent to all 32 clubs, as well as the raw footage for the entire event, which is unprecedented. The location Colin selected is more than an hour away from Flowery Branch. And then at the end, it says, Colin's decision has no effect on his status in the league. He remains an unrestricted free agent, eligible to sign with any club. From the NFL's point of view, they said, listen, we gave this guy a chance, and he decided to do what he did. And after it was all said and done, Roger Goodell said the NFL is moving on from Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah. Yeah, craziness, man. It's just, look, do I think that there was rooting interest against Colin Kaepernick? Certainly. There had to be people within those borders saying, man, can this dude just either show up and ball out or we get rid of this? Like, I'm just done. I'm just exhausted of the conversation of Colin Kaepernick being an NFL football player. I'm certain that was real. At the same time, if somebody called me to about, hey, I got a job for you, my response is not to tell them what I want. It's like when, where, and I'll show up and I'll go get that and I'll earn it. They don't tell you, well, noon in Atlanta. And I'm like, how about 1:30 outside Atlanta? Like, whoa, that's how we getting down? So it's really a crazy play in terms of the jousting, like the verbal jousting, the jousting in language. I mean, it became a contest to see who could get what they wanted before you even got on the field to show what you wanted. So it's a private club for a reason, the NFL is. And if you don't want to fully respect what they were trying to do, and I'm with Kaepernick in a lot of his ass, but when he asked that he needs his camera crew, which was Nike supported or whatever that looked like, or whatever they were intending to do with it, that's when you lost me, because you need to have that focus, that tunnel vision of getting back in the game and then balling out and silencing all this noise. But when your intentions are not pure, when you actually make a lot, if not more money not playing football, then that's going to obviously alter your behavior. And it sounded like it altered his.
Well, right. And then after all that happened, there was an article that said the XFL actually considered Kaepernick, but he had exorbitant salary requests that derailed the talks.
Yeah.
So now he had a chance to play for a whole other league, but he was asking for a ridiculous amount of money that they could not offer. And my whole thing is like, if you really want to play, take a lower salary and show what you could do, like a Carmelo Anthony. All right, cool. I'll take this little minimum wage, whatever. But once you see me on the field and once you see what it is, we could renegotiate after a year. But the fact that it just seems like he doesn't want to play.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's what happens when you get fat and full. It happened to me, it happened to everybody. Like, you create new standards. Like we were just talking about before, like rich people act like they don't give a damn. Because they got new standards of behavior. They're like, look, you ain't just going to come up on me on any old kind of way, any old kind of day. And I think Cap got fat and full. He had a big contract, even though it had holes in it, and he didn't make a ton of money from it. He had a big deal. He was a star before, and he created a new standard. And the floor of what Kaepernick would deal with, it had to raise, and it rose to a level that didn't really match up with his opportunities. And you can talk your way, or you could ask your way, or demand a price that can exclude you from many things in this world. You know, you walk up in anywhere and tell me, I ain't paying that, or I'm not doing that. They looking at you like, well, all right, well, get out of line because somebody is. And if your purest intention is to just be back in the NFL, I'm conflicted, because one side of me says, go play in the XFL and prove it. But then the other side of me says, but even if you prove it, if you genuinely believe the NFL ain't going to let you play no matter what, then why are you going to go play there if your goal is to play in the NFL? Now, if your goal is to play football, which is different than the NFL, because there's a CFL, there's an XFL, there was an AAF or AFL. Like, if you want to play football, that line's so long of so many guys so hungry, they'll play for peanuts. And you don't want to get in that line? Okay, you don't want to play football. You want to be in the NFL. But you got to earn your way back there, because right now you're either a highly priced backup that's coming with a lot of attention, or you're a questionable starter that we're not so sure we want to invest and sacrifice for you because we don't know what's coming with you in terms of ability and other things off the field. So what a horrible place to be, caught right between there. And everyone thought it was about Cap. Now Cam Newton is kind of suffering in that in-between place, even though he shouldn't be. Jameis Winston find himself in that. Is he a high backup or is he a low starter where he shouldn't be? But that's just how the game goes.